Round the Wickets time on ThePapare.com. Hello and welcome. It's lovely to be with you once again. Lots to talk about. We can talk about the Sri Lanka under-19 performance. Well, most of us thought that Sri Lanka will get into the final, but the weather wasn't kind. And also, what about Sri Lanka's tour of Pakistan, upcoming tour of Pakistan? We have scheduled a T20 series and a 50-over series, but as we speak to you now, that is myself and Farveez Maharoof, whom we warmly welcome to join us, the tour is very much in the balance. Everyone's not talking about it. The lips are sealed. So we are waiting. We are hoping that sanity will prevail, cricket will be the winner, and politics will take a back seat. So at least that's where we are starting from. As I say, a warm welcome to Farveez Maharoof. Now, before I go into the squads and all that, if you were given the option of whether to tour Pakistan or not, and if you were a current player, from a very honest angle, what would be your decision?
I mean,
don't tell me you're going to weigh the pros and cons, because you know all the pros and cons.
Yeah, I mean,
what is your
once
decision?
in personal opinion, once the green signal is given by the security analyst, I would say if I'm playing, I'd definitely go, because we can't forget one thing, that the sanity between Sri Lanka and Pakistan from those days onwards, as well as whenever we were in trouble, Pakistan definitely put their hands up and helped us out. So thinking all of those, and once the security report has been given and it's all good to travel. On a personal note, in my opinion, I will definitely go.
Yeah, sure. Now I'm asking for your opinion, because my question is, lots of people have been very critical of some of the players who aren't touring. Now I can read out the names. Demut Karunaratne, Lasith Malinga, Kusal Pereira, Angelo Matthews, Dhananjaya De Silva, Akila Dhananjaya, Thisara Pereira, Niroshan Dikwella, Chandimal, Lakmal. They're all opting out of the tour. Now, I think it's a very personal decision, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No one could point a finger at them, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who need to be comfortable about that decision. Are you in agreement with it?
Definitely. I think it's all about individuals' preference whether to go or not. I can understand a player like Suranga Lakmal, who did suffer in 2009, so I can't imagine his thought process. But
Lasith Malinga told me the same thing. He said
exactly.
he was part of it, and he just can't go back and remember what happened.
And also talking about other players, as you correctly said, Roshan, I'm with you, that it's all about individual. I mean, we should be debating about it at all. Unfortunately, with the media, and they've been highlighted and they've been, in the hot water, unfairly criticized.
Yeah.
So I reckon it's all about individual preferences, whether to tour or not. We got to respect that, and they have their own reasons, and SLC have their own reasons. So it's a bit of a very uncomfortable situation to be, if I'm being really honest.
Yeah.
But in the end, definitely the individual preferences comes along, and also the players coming in. This is a perfect opportunity for them to make a mark.
Yeah, now I want to talk about some of the new players, not some, just two players in particular. But let's focus on the two captains, Lahiru Tirimana of the ODI and Dasun Shanaka T20. Do you think the selectors had no option, or these were the most worthy guys to take over with the main guys not around?
I reckon looking at the one-day squad, Roshan, Lahiru Tirimana stands out to be the captain. I mean, look at the other players. I think that Tirimana definitely leads the pack. So rightly so, he has got the break. When it comes to T20, Dasun Shanaka for me, a bit of a surprise. But we've been thinking of him highly when it comes to T20 cricket. So this is his opportunity to make his mark. Prove that he's a leader. And sometimes when you have responsibility as an all-rounder, you can blossom, because you have that extra responsibility. So I wish both of them good luck. I mean, if we two and go and play. But as I said, it's a bit of a very tricky situation to be around, with few of the players opting out, few of the players coming in. I just hope that the players' mentality won't be disturbed when it comes to their togetherness and everything. And it happened before, last time. I know for a fact. But when it comes to these kind of situations, you just have to be very professional when you're going forward.
Yeah. Now, before that's a point that I really want to raise with you. Now, before I go far, I'm delighted for Bhanuka Rajapaksa. He's been tapping on the door, and I must tell you that I watched him in the inaugural T10 tournament. He and the fast bowler Shehan Madhusankar. Those were two guys that I thought really had a lot of hope. And Bhanuka Rajapaksa coming to the side now, and Shehan Madhusankar, we've already seen him but I believe he was plagued with injuries and all that. And the other young cricketer who comes in is, of course, Lahiru Madushankar. Now, I don't want to dwell on the players. We know how good they are. But you came up with a very interesting point, which I always had in my mind. Now, you said this is a tough situation. This is a very tough situation because certain players can feel, the senior players can feel betrayed. Okay, we are not going, but some of the others are going, right? So they feel betrayed. They've been looked upon as traitors by some people, as people who are opportunists, all that, which is not fair. Again, we must reiterate it's not fair. But expand a little bit on what the scenario would be or could be when eventually these players return and join some of these guys who went on this Pakistan tour. Right? How much of an impact could that be? Or considering, of course, the relationship our players have. Yeah. We're not talking about a large country like India. We're talking about a small nation where we're all so closely together. Just expand a little bit on it. How can it be damaging, or is it something that our players would manage? Just be honest about it.
I mean, it could be damaging, but that's where the professionalism comes in. I mean, if you, as I said, if someone steps out, it's another one's gain to go and perform well and take that position. So, it won't be that easy for the players to, if I'm looking at the player's perspective, player's angle, it won't be that easy. But that's where the professionalism comes forward, and you got to be professional. I mean, if you just have to back yourself. I mean, if a player doesn't want to go, you don't want to go. Fair enough. And new guy comes in. If he does well, someone's loses, someone's gain. So that's how you look at it. I mean, look at it the positive way. In the end, Sri Lanka cricket should go forward. These little things. I mean, these are little minor things. We have faced even worse things before, and we have come out of it. So I reckon in these situations, professionalism, act like a professional. Be together, and it's about individual decisions.
Yeah, I must also add that Minod Bhanuka is another youngster that is coming through. You think Bhanuka Rajapaksa, Minod Bhanuka and Lahiru Madushankar are deserving to
I mean, both three of them have been doing decently well in domestic season. So that's why, before I said, someone's loses, someone's gain. So this opportunity perfect for these three youngsters to come in, show what they are capable of, which you correctly said, Bhanuka Rajapaksa, we all know, on his day can be devastating. So this is his perfect opportunity, playing in Pakistan, the most flattest wickets in the world.
And I think he's got a record for the most number of sixers in a first class game.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, I think he got 260 or something. I mean, in next to no time.
I mean, he's someone, as I said, once he gets going,
yeah.
He's unstoppable. So it's all about him taking it to the next level now. He's been waiting in the wings for such a long time.
Yeah.
So this is his chance to go out there, play his own brand of cricket.
Now, I'm not going to put Farveez in a spot by talking about the political development, but we all know that Pakistan Minister Chowdhury Fawad Hassan has claimed in a tweet that India has threatened Sri Lankan players not to tour, and Minister Harin Fernando has refuted it. But we don't know what the actual political scenario is, and we're not going to even dwell on it. We're just informing you of what has happened. But what I would like you to tell me, or your thoughts, is about SLC denying Niroshan Dikwella and Thisara Pereira the NOCs to play in the Caribbean Premier League. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that's a fair decision?
I think it's a fair decision. I mean,
why do you say that?
Why I say that because they have, both of them have said no to international cricket, and I know that I mean they are having their own reasons when it comes to security, not touring Pakistan. But I feel like personally that SLC has taken the right stance by not allowing them to go. I understand why they did it, but personally I think they did the right decision. Yeah. This should be the way forward.
So if it is okay, if SLC is right, I have no problem. But like Pakistan is a place that a lot of people aren't too excited to tour. Right, so we also say that it's a player's decision. So we respect that.
Yeah.
Right, SLC is not putting any kind of pressure on anybody. Having said that, no international team is touring Pakistan or want to tour Pakistan. Just Zimbabwe recently, Sri Lanka visited last night, and the West Indies. So in that context, with these guys being professionals, knowing the ground reality, Don't you think it's been a little bit too harsh?
And also, Roshan, could look at the other way
Yeah,
around. I mean, nothing
personal.
personal.
These are just thoughts.
Yeah, nothing personal. I mean,
Nothing personal. We're just discussing these things.
Tisera have toured Pakistan previously.
Yes.
He toured with the...
Maybe Tisera, there is
world,
a point.
Yeah, World
There's
11 with the World 11. Then he captained the one-off T20s. So he had been there for some reason. He's not keen to go this time. So SLC, we look at the other angles as well.
That's right.
So whereas with Roshan Dikwal, I understand why he's been not given. Because, especially with Tisera having experience going there, and all of a sudden when it comes to international tournament, series, clashing with CPL, and he opts to stay back, not to tour Pakistan, but to go to CPL. SLC have their own reasons.
So your idea is that because Tisera has been deprived, that they cannot give Roshan Dikwal.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Roshan Dikwal had,
but two different cases.
Two different cases, but in the end, Roshan Dikwal, loses everything, basically. So Tisera at least went for, I think, 1 week or 10 days for CPL.
Yeah. And
he's been asked to return by the 15th. Whereas Dikwal, just because Tisera wasn't given, SLC had no choice to deny him as well.
Yeah, now, I must mention here that this is not about judging, or this is not about supporting one party against another party, or trying to justify an action. It's only discussing a situation, exchanging views. I mean, you people watching, friends watching, would have your own views, but we're just expressing our views, bouncing it off you. So just feel free to comment, think about it, think what we say, but we're not supporting anyone or criticizing any other party. Anyway, that's where it is as far as the Pakistan tour, which we hope will happen, and the NOCs. But let's get to this under-19. I mean, how unfortunate can Sri Lanka be? Yes, I mean, they dropped a game against Bangladesh. I mean, I can understand that. So you can't justify it. Yeah. Cricket is such a funny game. But I feel that two semi-finals being washed off, and then, those two teams not qualifying cannot be accepted. There should have been a rain day. I mean, a normal first round game, I'll accept it. So what are your thoughts on it?
I'm with you, Roshan. Unfortunately, entire tournament never had 2 days off. It was all back-to-back games.
You need to.
And especially, as you said, semi-finals, even, we raised that question beginning of the series, but just that, the time schedule was such close.
You should have protested. I mean, how could you? The 4 top teams, how can you decide on a finalist because of rain?
We definitely raised, as a management in the team, we raised that question, but all what the answer we got was ACC has given only this window. So when it comes to that, we have no say. And unfortunately, as you said, India is a strong team for Sri Lanka.
That's not the point. It's about playing and qualifying. It's not depriving a team.
No, I understand why the rules has been made. But once the ACC...
What is the reason?
I mean, thing is, India became first in their group and we were second.
No. I have no problems about those two coming into the final. I'm talking about the decision not to give a rain day for the semi-final.
The reason we were told was the ACC haven't given this window only, and we cannot give any more.
An extra day?
No. So that's where it stands. It's something that sometimes you just have to move on with.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised because ACC, I'm sure, is manned by people who know cricket. The participating teams should have spoken because I'm sure they understand this. That cannot be condoned at all. But you never allow a semi-final, to go through just to decide on rain. Anyway, that's what happened. Sri Lanka was unfortunate. But did you see any potentially future Sri Lankan prospects in the making? Because why I say this? The final was a disaster. I mean, I'm sure you'd have watched it.
Yeah, I did.
Actually, I tweeted saying that Bangladesh and India can hope or can be proud of their bowling resources, but I'm not sure about the batting because they looked quite ordinary. Yeah. But without going there, what are your thoughts on the Sri Lankan team? Any names you like to mention as standouts?
There are a few, Roshan, going forward. I think we got a very, very good team, as I said in the previous show. We have a balanced team. But unfortunately, as you said, Bangladesh game made the difference for us, chasing 270. We lost our way by losing wickets in crucial intervals when it comes to chasing down the score. I reckon that's what cost us the game. And looking at the future, I think there are a few players coming through. I mean, they are matured, very matured to be part of the first-class system, then going forward on the ladder. So I reckon there are a few names. I mean, I'd like to mention like a player fast bowler like Dilshan Madhuskar, the left arm quick.
Any players playing for the NCC next season?
Hopefully I can sign them up for you. And a player like...
I asked you about the NCC.
Yeah, Kamil Mishara, Nipun Dhananjaya, and all these players. I mean, Rohan Sanjay, in the Bangladesh game, was batting at number 8, scored a 14 about 20 odd delivery. So we got the talent, we got the balance, but just that, as you said, one of those days where we lost the game, was one game, and unfortunately we were second in the group and had to be exit from the finals.
Yeah, very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Whilst we're sad that Sri Lanka lost to Bangladesh, again, I must reiterate that you don't run a tournament where you don't have a rain day for the semi-finalists, because you can't decide a semi-final because of the weather. Anyway, that's done and dusted. Before I ask you the questions, I must remind you that you must subscribe to thepapare.com for all the quality content and the latest in the field of cricket. Now, before I go, I must ask you the question. Now, the question of the week, now listen to me very carefully. The question of the week is, how many countries participated in the Under-19 Asia Cup and there's an "and" here, the Under-19 Asia Cup qualifiers in 2019. We're not talking only about the Under-19 Asia Cup, we're saying and the Under-19 Asia Cup qualifiers. So let us know your answer. We hope you will have the right answer come the next time. Right, now our last week's question was, what is the only country to win an Under-19 Asia Cup trophy other than India or Pakistan? Would you believe that India and Pakistan have dominated the Under-19 World Cup or the Under-19 Asia Cup, and Sri Lanka is nowhere? Bangladesh very nearly became another team outside India and Pakistan, but the answer is Afghanistan, and congratulations to Samita Kolombage, you are the winner. So once again, thank you for joining us on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We hope you enjoyed it, especially some of the important hot topics and some interesting topics about the tour of Pakistan, the NOCs and all that. We hope you enjoyed it. Once again, it's not about defending or supporting someone. It was only about expressing our views and having a very healthy discussion. Thank you for joining us. Until we see you again, it's goodbye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for our latest content.